Alright, guys, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to Tomboy Official, day 24. So we're coming into a new chapter. I don't have the book right in front of me, but, we've got about 6 more days, or, 6 more days of episodes of this series. I guess the first thing to note in these 3 pages today, one page is finishing up the topic about gratitude. The next page is like a graphic that says something about Bengal tigers. When you're in, I don't know, something about when you're around a lot of Bengal tigers, be a Bengal, like the Bengal, I think like the bracelets, and it had like a little graphic of like a lot of little tigers, and then one of them has like the bracelets on its wrists, and she goes into talking about professions that people choose to use kind of like an artistic approach, a creative approach. How people say, be yourself and have your own. Like, I heard this at work a lot, that like, even in therapy, it's like people have their own style. But like, so usually people are encouraged to do that. And then she made a comment that kind of stuck out to me. Just a comment that was about being kind of like sorry guys, the coffee hasn't quite kicked in yet. But being like a little dude, I don't even know how to say it. Like, basically saying that, like, how people say that, the world is a canvas, kind of create your own way, but then there's kind of this other concept, like, if you're using that analogy, that, not every canvas is the same. Like she mentioned, this is what she says, like, not every canvas is the same size or the same kind of, like, arrangement, and then, we're given different brushes, different tools, as an analogy, like, not everybody. I don't know where she's going with it, because I didn't look into the next page, but basically I'm gonna assume that it's kind of speaking towards, not everybody's born with the same exact life, the same exact background, the same exact biology. We all come into the world with different differences, and those differences can be, can give us different interactions with the world and with opportunities and, exposure and access to different resources. And I'm not sure how deep in that direction she's going. But anyways, just on that note, I'm really liking this book. I'm almost done with it. We're almost done. I mean, we could have finished it way a long time ago, but sorry, I gotta text my sister back. So, yeah, that's kind of, something to kind of think on, is that we're given just different, just a lot of differences, and then navigating the world based on that. And I'm kind of noticing too, now that I've kind of slowed down, like way, the slowed down process has really allowed me to, um, do a lot of recovering and, enter into kind of space to, heal things. I was even starting to think of it last night. I think last night was the first night that I was like, okay, I feel good. I feel like, I might be ready to start, slightly diving a bit into some more work related things. Like, I felt this way before, not that many weeks ago, like, it wasn't that long ago, but it was before the weather got stormy again. So, um, now that the weather isn't stormy, well, it's going to be a little bit stormy, but now that the weather's kind of clearer, and I've been able to get out a lot, like, I even noticed, like, you know, the last few days, like, Friday, I forgot to mention, like, Friday I interacted with some friends, kind of met somebody new who seems really cool, like I really want to get to know this person, even though, it's not like, I mean, they're, uh, not like in a romantic way, not that there's anything wrong with that, this person is like a friend of a friend. I'm pretty sure they're dating somebody or in a relationship from the sound of things, and I'm not really just like trying to like start something just all of a sudden like that, but um, they're really cool. Like, I really like meeting them, um, and just how they were just to talk to, and it was like super comfortable, and I was like really into, that conversation, the conversations we were having and things, and just kind of how nice they were. Like, I don't know, like, I've been pretty surprised. I mean, I don't think that this few pages has anything to do with what I'm saying right now, but, it's just kind of what's on my mind, that I've been pleasantly surprised that, I've, in the last few days, experienced a lot of, kind of like forms of compassion towards me, and kind of just like nice people who I really enjoyed, talking to and meeting. Friday I met somebody, who was like I said, a friend of a friend, but it was really comfortable, and, you know, um, it seemed like they were able to be themselves, and, there were some moments where I was just like, wow, like, this is a really nice vibe, like, I really like how they're pretty, like, genuine, and, it didn't feel like they were kind of, like, putting up a lot of walls, and we took, like, a walk, not just, like, the two of us, but, like, the three of us, we went on a walk, and, like, to go get some ice cream in the freezing cold in the middle of the night, but, we took a walk, and it was nice, and, it was a pretty lengthy walk, and so it was, like, a decent amount of kind of exercise, and a lot of good conversation, a lot of depth to the conversations, and, you know, it was just little things, like, we got ice cream, or they got ice cream, and I just, I was like, we're eating ice cream outside in, like, 40 something degree weather. I'm like, no, I wasn't into it. Plus the dairy, and I was like, I don't really know, that's not a good idea for me for today. But yeah, just meeting them and having a good connection early on, and how they seem like they still would want to meet sometime and hang out another time, and how we were kind of you know experiencing a pretty good time together and getting to know each other, and they even kind of reached out like they'd like to, let's hope that we see each other again. And there's a moment at the ice cream place where they were just super kind, and I didn't get any ice cream because I was like, I'm cold, and in my mind I'm like, it's dairy, I don't really do dairy too well, and I just didn't want to spend the money. I was just like, I don't really, it's not a meal, I just ate, like, I was carrying the little leftovers from the bar anyways, and I was like, I still have food, like, I'm not trying to eat again. But I was just fine to chill while they ate their snack. And before they, like, right when they got it, before they even, when they were grabbing their spoon, they were like, go ahead, like, grab a spoon, give it a taste, and I was just, like, not in those exact words, but I was just kind of like, oh, like, cool, thanks. And it was really delicious. It was dang, I don't remember the name. um I'll have to try to find the name, but it was delicious, and it had like a cookie kind of crust kind of in there, and it was almost like taro with cookie or something like that. But I don't remember the name. It reminded me something like baguette, but I don't remember what the name was actually. But um, but all right, I gotta go get this car. All right, the drop-off person's here. All right. All right, so I'm borrowing a Nissan Versa this time. Um, I've been liking this kite rental. Um, I found it to be pretty convenient and nice and easy to use. I don't really know if it's like too much cheaper or more expensive, but I feel like if you're in a situation maybe where you have to Uber pretty far just to get to the car rental place, maybe doing the math, and if you already have like coverage from your own insurance and you don't have to use their insurance, and if you refill the gas on your own, I feel like it's a decent deal. Like, I don't feel like it costs more. The drivers that pick up and drop off, there is like a tip option for them to tip them. So that's something you don't see at like regular car rental places, I don't think. And then um, it is pretty casual. Like, they're kind of just like, they come, hand you the keys, wait for you up to 10 minutes to come outside to get the keys, and if you have questions about the car, they'll tell you. If there's any dings and little scratches and stuff, they'll let you know. And um, just little stuff like that. And then um, um, you know, this person was pretty cool. I yeah. So this is the first time I'm getting a Nissan Versa. The other times I got that Charger. Um, but so yeah, like, so basically we, Friday went really well, and like I said, it was pleasant to meet somebody who just had like a genuine feel to them. Um, and I felt pretty calm around them because they were pretty calm, and I was able to kind of like settle into it. Like, I notice when people are kind of like anxious or like kind of high strung, I kind of pick up on it. Like, I did interact with someone who's kind of like a little, like, I did notice when I first sat down, it was kind of like, not tense. It wasn't tense. It was just kind of like, we haven't seen somebody for a while, and it's kind of like a little like, it doesn't feel like super familiar. Like, it takes me a while to like settle in, you know, and just kind of relax into the vibe of the situation. So, we were catching up and everything, and then kind of like eased into things. But um, I was pretty I guess the only thing I was a little taken aback by um, was, when my friends asked me, like, are you depressed, or like, have you been depressed or something like that, and I was kind of just like me and this person don't talk a lot outside of in person. Like, we text a little. Like, I used to be the one who was like texting a lot and probably like overdoing it for sure, but you know, text a little. We used to text a little. Like, maybe once a week we might kind of be like, hey, like, what's up? How's your week? Kind of thing. And but I haven't really been too open with too many people about what I've been dealing with. Like, a little bit, like, kind of like when people ask, I'm not really like, like, basically I've been trying to describe to people that, it's been a difficult adjustment, and that I'm definitely burnt out and taking time to recover from things and heal and things like that, and do kind of healthier things, work on my health. But I haven't been too direct about expressing to too many people kind of how I feel. Some days, like, a lot of my closer friends know, but the people that I talk to like almost every day, like, they know. But um, it's also not been, like, I guess I wouldn't say that, like, oh, it's like something to ignore, but I kind of knew, like, understood the experience I've been having this whole time. That I was like, yeah, this is, I'm definitely like depressed and having some pretty intense anxiety and, other stuff. But um, it just came with the territory. It was like, I've been grinding away for like years, and there's a lot of stuff that I knew I hadn't been taking the time and energy to work on, and I've been feeling pretty um like basically I feel like it helped to kind of push. That was one thing that was really helpful for me, was to try to do something that I'm used to doing, that included something that I was like, like, for example, like last time, I went snowboarding, or went to the mountains, and I was like, at the very least, I get out of town, new change of pace, new change of scenery, new change of weather. I'm around nature. Even if I'm in a hotel, the hotel is like in the middle of, like, it's off a highway, but also there's like hills and like little mountains and rocky kind of areas, and like it looks like there's some kind of water stream or creek, or I don't know what the difference is between all those types of things, but like some kind of water that passes by part of the extension parking lot in that area, and it's just like right nearby. And so I'm not sure if it ever has water passing through. I don't think I've ever witnessed that, but it looks like the type of area where there could be water sometimes, and just things like that, just to think about, nature and the different things that, like, I'm not used to being around all day. So yeah, but I wasn't like super open on Friday, like, about emotional stuff too much, just because, like, it was kind of like, I kind of wanted to just get in a good vibe and have some fun, and not really delve too far into what's been going on with me. But I feel like it kind of wasn't really too relevant at the point either, because I wasn't feeling overwhelmed by it on Friday. I was kind of more just like excited to see my friends and stuff, so, and excited about the weekend, and CrossFest, and like, we've done CrossFest multiple times, and it's been great every time. And um, so that was Saturday. When we did CrossFest, I was pretty excited about it. I kind of didn't know what to expect, but I kind of came to a, not conclusion, but to a understanding that, or maybe like a realization that I didn't want to do. I didn't want to, have too many, I guess, I don't want to say too many people, but too many kind of like too many disappointments, so I was kind of like, worst case scenario, people flake out and I end up just going by myself for one day. And there's a friend that I know is more on point with things who was going Sunday. And so I was like, well, I'll hang out with him for sure Sunday, but some of the other friends, sometimes they kind of switch plans last minute. I've noticed with the planning with certain people, it's like switching plans last minute. Like, not necessarily like, oh, they're not gonna go, or maybe they were gonna go, but basically different people planned to do different things, and I wasn't really super in the loop, but I also wasn't surprised because I know how it goes with people with things. And that's one thing I do want to talk about with in the relationship series, about that kind of perspective on things that I've been kind of diving into with some people I know and trying to understand it better. But you know, yeah, I guess Saturday, based on the social cues and what, I was kind of getting back from people, was that maybe I kind of had some kind of energy where it seemed like I was kind of, how do you say, like, not, like, people didn't really maybe know, like, people didn't really, I'm having a hard time expressing what I'm trying to say. I don't know why. My head is kind of like super, like, I feel like the coffee kicked in, but I don't really know. My brain's moving kind of slow. I am kind of tired, but basically, I kind of understood that things weren't gonna maybe go exactly as planned, especially because we didn't have like a solid plan of like, meet here at this time at this place. I tried to open that door on like Friday or something when I started driving to San Diego. I was kind of like, yo, I'm about to drive down, like, let me know kind of what the plan is, when you guys want to meet, whatever. And they were kind of like, I think that's the first time I heard that one person had decided not to go and had instead, let another person have their ticket. And I was just like, okay. And so it begins, it's like, okay. But I already expected that. I was just kind of like, I know by now what to expect. And, these types of tickets, I don't really buy tickets, like, depending on other people to follow through. Like, usually I've noticed when it comes to more pricey stuff, I kind of tend to make my own plans. Just kind of do my own thing. Make my own have my own plans, and just you know, do my own thing. If all else fails, at least I get to go and do what I want. Um, Regardless if I'm doing it alone or with the crew of people that I wanted to do it with, or with another arrangement. It's like, at the end of the day, I get to do what I'm planning to do. But, Saturday was nice to have, you know, a different person there that I have seen around, but I hadn't really gotten to know before, and I found, very nice to be around. Like, I was kind of just like impressed by how they were, if that makes sense. Like, they were nice and seemed caring. I kind of missed some cues. They were they kept asking me if I was okay, and I was kind of like, yeah, like, I'm okay. Like, but I don't really know why. Like, I mean, for me, when I'm in those environments, like, not only am I like stoned or whatever, it's like I'm, it was cold. It was super cold weather. I'm not used to being in that cold of weather for multiple hours like that on end. There's a lot of standing, which, legs getting a little exhausted, which was fine, but it still did kind of, it was something that was like apparently slight discomfort. Um, I had this plantar fasciitis situation kind of flaring up on me um, from the standing and just like my arches and stuff, arch support, and you know, um, I, you know, like just the loud music, like I love it, but it's just really loud, and then you know the which is what I like that it's loud, and just that there's so many people and just like movement of so many things going on that the environment was pretty like extra stimulating, and so I don't know if the other person kind of expected that I was going to be like sociable and like chatty and like talkative. Like I kind of was when we were like in the car and when we were walking and stuff. But once I got into, the venue, I was just like, oh my gosh, like, and I like the intensity, but I'm not used to like, usually I'm there with friends who, we just go up front and we just like rock out, and we're just like dancing and stuff, and we're not really there to like converse. Like every now and then we'll take a break, go get some food, go line up, get some food, go to the back somewhere and like either sit on the ground or sit at a table or whatever we find a space to sit, or walk towards the bathrooms or whatever, or porta potties rather. And then we kind of do that, and we're able to um, just kind of connect a little bit with each other and like catch up a little bit when we're doing like sitting down and eating, or just like if we want to take a break and like relax a little bit between sets or something, because it gets tiring standing and all that, and then sometimes you need the bathroom. It's like a whole thing. So you know we try to do it that way, um, but we're not really um, I'm not used to going to concerts and like trying to like mingle and talk and meet new people. And even when I'm at bars and clubs, I have the same kind of issue. It's just like too much going on for me to really be like having a conversation. Like for me, I'm more like, if you want to talk, walking, or sitting somewhere like in a restaurant or at a bonfire or at the beach or at a park or like a picnic type of scenario, or yeah, like I said, dinner, lunch, brunch. I'm not, very talkative in kind of turn up environments. Like, usually when I'm in that kind of environment, like, unless I'm drinking or like have a lot of caffeine, I'm usually not quite that energetic on that level, with those types of things, if that makes sense. Like, I'm just usually not. And, I'm not trying to even be, you know, like antisocial and just not talk to people. Like, sometimes I just don't feel like socializing. That's the truth. Like, sometimes I just want to be there and be around people and be in the environment with people I know, but not necessarily, catching up. Like, I'm kind of more of like sit down, have a conversation, talk about things a little more in depth versus like everybody drunk and like screaming over the music and like for me it's easier to talk about like more personal things when I'm not yelling and you know especially when you're at, I don't know, it's kind of weird for me when you're at like a bar with friends and then you're trying to like catch up and like be like, oh yeah, I've been like working out my depression and anxiety, like, it's like some things I'm just like, dude, I'd rather just keep it to myself, or just have like kind of like a calmer, more intimate environment. Like, it doesn't have to be like completely subdued, like complete silence or whatever, like a library, like, but like, I'm not very good at meeting people in environments where it's just like so much going on, and like I literally was not even trying to like socialize. Like, it never came to my mind that I'm not being social enough or that maybe I'm not talking a lot, and you know, once we got back to the car, somebody kind of mentioned it too. Um, you know, that we were being pretty quiet. Um, it was a different person who was in the car, with us, so we added a fourth, um, on the way back, um, and you know, they were flying in from another state, and you know, um, it was a friend of one of the friends in the car, and so that person started mentioning, that maybe we're a little quiet, but I think they were kind of referring to me because I was the one who wasn't really talking that much. And then we just had I was kind of like, oh, you know, I probably should have said something, that I'm pretty quiet. When I have edibles, I'm not really like super chatty when it's like an intense environment. I'll just check out and just like not talk for like hours, and like I probably should have said that because, that's why they were asking me if I'm okay, and they kept asking, and I was just like, wow, like they probably asked me about like, I don't know how many times, like maybe 5 or more times, and I was kind of just like the first couple times I was like, okay, and then after that I was kind of like, I don't know why they're asking. Like, I kind of knew that they were asking, but I was like, well, maybe they're just, I took it like maybe they're just being friendly. Like, maybe they're just being friendly, and they're just really, you know, um, trying to like, be in tune with people or whatever. But I don't know what they thought I was. I don't know what they thought I was experiencing. Um, but I guess they could tell I was experiencing something, but I don't think I was aware of maybe how obvious it was, or that, I was maybe expected to be acting a different way, which I didn't really know. Um, and, this is somebody, like, I don't really know them. Um, like, I think I've met them around town a couple times. We've been introduced, to be honest, because we weren't like right next to each other and stuff. I never really knew what to say, you know, like I just, you know, like I've seen them, but we haven't really talked too much in depth. Um, and I feel like, you know, to get to know me, maybe a rave is not the place to do it. Because usually I'm there just to like, I like to go up in the front and just like dance and just be like in the mix with the crowd and with the musicians and stuff. Like I'm not really there, you know, to interact with people and like have like some depth of connections like in conversation and stuff. Just kind of more connecting through the experience maybe, and just the vibe of the experience and everything. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's something to keep in mind that, you know, maybe when I meet new people, I should probably let them know um, how I react when I have like edibles in my system. But yeah, like I felt like it was fun, but you know, there were a bit of hiccups. Like it wasn't like not with us socially. Like we all got along great, but you know, it was just kind of um like maybe some of the surrounding people were kind of like a little um there were some situations where, you know, it was kind of hard to be in the same space as some of the other guests that were there who were there for the concert. So they kind of made it like a really difficult experience to some extent. Not really difficult, actually. That's wrong. That's not accurate. It was just kind of like there was a little bit of stuff that, you know, just there were other people that for a few seconds or maybe a couple minutes worth total, there was a little bit of like tension with some situation that I don't know, man. I was a little surprised. Like it kind of escalated, but it wasn't on us. Um, it was just some other person kind of acting a little, just trying to like do something or just not really having very good boundaries at all, and you know, was kind of bothering, you know, my friends and stuff, and that's never really happened before. um like to the point where I had to like stand up and like turn around and face this person and be like, yo, you know, like, and it was just like, what the fuck, you know? Like I don't really confront people, and then the other person, I don't really want to talk about it, but basically it resolved itself. But you know, um I don't know, like, you know, there's a lot that happens sometimes um when you're just out and about. I mean, I don't know that person. I don't know what they were doing or what they were on or what their intentions were, but it was just not a normal kind of interaction. Like, I think maybe they were on something. I don't think that's an excuse, you know. I just, maybe not even on something. Like, it just wasn't. You never want something to happen where you have to, like, you know, tell somebody to, like, get the fuck away from you, you know? Like, but, yeah. So, but that happened maybe towards sundown. Um, and, you know, there were just like a couple little hiccups. Like, it wasn't like we're not dramatic. We never really like provoke people or anything like that. So it was kind of just like, that's not a normal thing that I usually experience with my friends when we go out, and then there's somebody who's just like saying stuff or trying to like do stuff or whatever, like usually that doesn't really happen. And I tend to hang out in a lot of spaces where there's a lot of different types of people. I'm not sure if the reason why that person was acting as they were was anything relevant to, seeing that there are three people who look pretty queer, clothing styles and everything, I'm not sure if that had anything to do with it. In my mind, that's what I felt like. That's what it was. I felt like it was a dude trying to challenge three people who were born females that kind of are a little more on the mask presenting side. There are three of us that, we don't all dress the same or anything, but it's like, we clearly weren't femme dressed, none of us were, and I think that might have been potentially why, they were, having some kind of a reaction to that, maybe. Like, I don't really know. Like, but we weren't doing anything. We were just minding our own business. But I don't really know. Like, it's really hard to have any context. But, I mean, it kind of felt tense at the moments when that was happening. But, I didn't really sense that later on in the night. And then, like, I mean, we did kind of talk about it. We didn't, like, not talk about it. We didn't just, like, ignore it. But I kind of wonder, because it wasn't, I don't know, it's just kind of coming to my mind more now that I'm just kind of questioning it, because it's just not something normal. It's kind of hard to, like, I don't really know. Like, I really just don't know what to say about it. Like, I guess the things I want to say, I'm not really trying to, like, say it on here, but I don't know. It's just unfortunate that there are people that are like that, and, I mean, it didn't get to the point where someone else had to step in, but, I was kind of scanning around looking to be like, okay, like, is there, like, some security or somebody who could, like, help this situation? And, I was kind of looking around. I didn't really see anybody, but, I don't know. We're in a complete crowded environment, so, and I was kind of like, the music was kind of, just the environment and energy itself was kind of like overriding a lot of things about, my thoughts and everything. Like, I wasn't, like, really in any kind of state of mind where I was, like, really, like, ruminating over anything negative, nothing like that. Like, it was a positive vibe, like, but I do have to bring up that there was a little bit of, couple things that did happen, but that wasn't normal. That's not, like, something that I've ever experienced, really. Like, I've experienced different things at festivals, at concerts. Like I mentioned before too, like, sometimes, like, if I have a hat on and a mask, people might perceive me more as, like, male and as a black male. And so, I do notice, specifically whenever I dress like that, people bump into me more. I see people react differently, and they kind of, like, not flinch, but kind of like, you know, get a little, like, their demeanor is different, their energy is different than when, you know, they perceive me as a female. Like, people bump into me more, push more, don't really say they're sorry. Um, I mean, this happens at these types of festivals. People, there's always lines of people walking past you and stuff, even when you sit or stand somewhere else, and there's always people just like making a pathway like right next to you and stuff, and like, it's almost impossible to avoid that unless you're like way off to the side somewhere. Um, but yeah, or like way up in the front. That's why I like being way up in the front, because when you're in the front, there's nobody really trying to like walk past you and stuff. It's just you and the security guards. So basically, um, but yeah, I was pretty, um, just, yeah. Saturday was a good day, but there was a lot of just unexpected stuff that I just kind of, missed some cues and everything. And then Sunday was a great day too. I got to see my other friends, um, some of the same ones, some different ones, and that was pleasant. And we finally got to go up front. Like, some of my other friends went to the neighborhood, and I was like, nah, like, I'm like before, and I was like, I'm not gonna go do that. I have these tickets. Let me just go back to the concert. So I went back to the concert, and we enjoyed ourselves. Um, we got to be up front, and I liked Channel Thrace. I'd never seen him before, but I kind of liked his vibe and the background dancers and stuff. That was pretty cool. And um, of course, Lane 8 and Odessa. I've seen them now multiple times. Odessa, this is the second time, but um, so now I've seen Odessa, Lane 8, and Rufus Du Sol more than once. And it was pleasant every time. So yeah, that was Sunday. And then Monday, I kind of have tentative plans Monday. We didn't like solidly plan, and then I was like, I'm too tired to plan anyway, so I didn't really make too much effort, and I wasn't really too sure, honestly, what was going on with that situation for Monday, because I just maybe got a little kind of like okay, noticing that they kind of weren't having their same like communication patterns when I'd kind of reached out and been um um like I kind of reached out and kind of asked this person um um like what their availability is like, and I never got like a solid answer. And then they hit me up on Sunday, but never really mentioned anything about their schedule or mentioned anything about us hanging out or anything. And then I left on Monday. I mean, I was tired anyways, and it was the best decision just to leave. Um, but I was a little like confused maybe, and misinterpreting a situation, thinking that maybe this person just, how it is, like every now and then somebody, even if you have a good vibe, they might just ghost you. I've had that experience a lot, where they just like ghost or just disappear, and it's like, hey, like, where'd you go? Um, and so I kind of assumed that that's what was happening with this situation, that this person just all of a sudden was like, showing different communication patterns. And I was like, either they're really busy or they're just, not gonna, like, I kind of took it as they don't want to plan. That's why they're not giving me their schedule. But also maybe they didn't really see it in the message or whatever. And then, later on in the afternoon, once I was in LA again, um, this person was down in San Diego. And once I was in LA, they hit me up. And I was just like I already left, like, and I kind of described my schedule in detail of like, I check out of the hotel at 11. So like if I don't have plans near 11 or before 11, or I'm willing to wait around for maybe like an hour or so. If someone's available maybe at noon or something, I can like wait around an hour to meet up or whatever. But if they don't want to meet up, or if they want to meet up later, like 7 p.m. at night, it makes more sense for me to stay until Tuesday, because then it's like, other than waiting around from 11 until 7, because on like Mondays, it's not like I'm making plans with a lot of people. Like the only people I can make plans with are the people who have like kind of alternative type of schedules. And so I can't just make plans with everybody during the daytime, because most people I know are working during that time. So I was like, well, I'm technically available, but I need to know like what time and place we're gonna meet so that I can like plan. And I thought I had mentioned that like a week ago. We had contact like the previous Monday, and I didn't book even the days I was gonna be there yet until Wednesday. Like I didn't hear back, so I was like, screw this, I'm just gonna book my trip, because I can't be like waiting on people to respond. And so I just booked it till Monday, and waited to see if they were gonna tell me anything. And then when I got contact Sunday, I was like, well, they didn't mention anything about meetings, so maybe that's my answer, they don't want to meet. And I didn't bring it up because I was like, well, I already brought it up like the previous Monday. So I don't know, like I don't know if I was being passive about it and not just being too direct. Because I don't think I was like afraid of rejection, of them being like, oh no, but I kind of was like, that was just odd, because usually, when we're planning, usually it's easier than that. Like usually it's not like, hey, Monday I send you a message and I don't hear back till like Sunday, but nothing about planning. But because I was like, well, maybe they just completely forgot or just completely don't care, or were waiting for me to be like, hey, here's my schedule, you know. um, but Monday came around. I kind of also assumed that this person would be working Sundays, and then right after work, you get off work in the morning, you're gonna sleep after work, right? So I just assumed they're gonna go to bed right after work on early Monday morning, so they're probably not gonna be up anytime near when I check out, and so I'm just gonna leave, because I just assumed that that was their schedule. But now that I know their schedule, I know that I was completely inaccurate, and they kind of knew that we were gonna hang out but didn't really mention anything, and I didn't really mention it because I didn't really get any like feedback on Monday, so I was kind of just like, all right. So I just kind of took it as a no. But then when I didn't hear back for like a week, I was kind of like, oh, maybe they just don't want to talk anymore. It's like, that's kind of what I assumed, just because when it comes to things like dating or whatever it may be, that is unfortunately a pretty normal experience. to have people just kind of like ghosting or just like fall off the face of the earth. Um, so I had totally assumed that that's what I was experiencing and that that's what was going on. Even though nobody told me that, even though it wasn't like, oh, like, yeah, I'm ghosting you or whatever. Like, I just didn't know what else to think of it, so I don't know. So I came back Monday, and then, yeah, I'm excited to have plans going to the mountains today. I'm still settling into this morning. Probably gonna leave in about an hour and a half or so. I don't know. I'm gonna try and get there maybe around 1:30 or so. I don't really know. It looked foggy this morning when I checked around 7 something, so I'm gonna make sure it's not too foggy looking on the roads right now. And otherwise, alright, I should get on with it, make some breakfast, get up and get rolling, and keep hydrating and stuff. But yeah, that's about it for now.